Welcome back to our 16th C# tutorial. Now, I want to talk about comments. So I've used them a few times before, but I just feel as though it's good to finally actually have one video discussing them. So firstly, I'm going to introduce you to the basic, most simple comment you could imagine, and it's just a single line comment, which is illustrated by 2 forward slashes. And from here we can write something like, this is a comment. And now I'm going to create a multi-line comment. Now this needs to be watched a little bit more carefully, because in it we can take out lines of code. So now we've removed this entire line of code, and this is a multi-line comment. And you can see how it's done with a forward slash and then a star, which is Shift and 8 on my computer. I would assume most of you have the same, but if you're using some weird contraption, you might have it a little differently. So what we can do, we can comment out lines of code, and that's actually a really useful thing, because say we had a section of code that wasn't working and we wanted to comment out just a little bit and then test what the program would be like without it. So in that case, what I'll do is, instead of having this little thing here, and yeah, we see there's something wrong here, so I'm going to just comment out this double B, but I'm going to have the other line. Now I know that this brings up an error with B not being used, but that's just what it's used for. That's just what this line of commenting is useful for. If we know that nothing's wrong, then we don't need comments at all, but we also know here that A is not used. So say if we had 3 or 4 instances of A in this thing and one of them wasn't working, we could comment out the one that wasn't working and see what happened. We could also comment out others and see if that fixes up any issues. It's just, you got to pick where you put your comments, and sometimes multi-line comments are good for, say, putting out blocking out a few lines, because we don't need this to be run 6 times. We can easily just put out a nice little multi-comment and not have to worry about it. So anyway, that was just a little bit of our chat on comments. But before we go, I'm just going to say one last thing on them. A single line comment is very good for describing what a program does, and a lot of programmers, lecturers, teachers, they will put comments next to it, or they will expect you to put comments next to it to say, this is where B is introduced, and then say if this was a little bit more complicated and we were doing something much more different, we could then explain what this was doing and why it was useful to the program in this line. So then if someone was going and looking through your program, trying to fix an error that they've found in it, they'll be able to read the comments to the right of the code and just understand what that line's doing, and then it'll make it easier for someone to pick up on an error and try and fix it. So anyway, thanks for watching. I just heard something hit my window, so I'm going to go and take a look what that is, and I'll see you next time.